Now let's take a look at some of the structures associated with the neck region of the pig. So we're zooming in on the neck region here, and you can see that it has been dissected. There are a number of structures that we can find inside the neck. Actually, as you dissect a pig, you kind of cut through some of the structures. So some of these structures are no longer intact. The first structure I'm going to start out with is a gland. And it's basically all this material here, this right here. You also have some on this side as well. It looks like chicken fat. This is the thymus, which is a gland that functions partially in your immune system. It also functions in your lymphatic system. It helps to filter out certain particles from your body. Some infectious particles, things like viruses and bacteria, can make their way into the thymus where it gets filtered out and destroyed by the immune system. Typically, fetal pigs and even human fetuses have a lot more thymus than adults do. This is a gland that actually shrinks as you get a little bit older. So pushing the thymus out of the way, you can then see some of the other structures associated with the neck. The big bulbous structure you're seeing here towards the anterior side, this is the larynx, or the voice box. If you could touch it, it actually feels a little bit hard to the touch. But again, so that's the larynx. Air can come down through the larynx to help make sounds. You can see that the larynx then descends into a ridged tube. I'm going to move this structure out of the way. This ridged tube that you're seeing here, this is the trachea, or the windpipe. So this is going to carry air down into the lungs, and also air, carbon dioxide waste out of the lungs back out to the mouth. This structure that I moved out of the way, this is another gland. This is called the thyroid gland. And the thyroid gland produces a number of hormones. Some of these hormones are responsible for the metabolic activity within your body. And in the case of the pig, it releases hormones that help to control some of the metabolic activity for the pig as well. Okay? One last final thing that you can see in the neck, and it's a little hard to see because it's hidden by the trachea, but you can also see the esophagus. The esophagus is the tube that runs from the mouth down into the stomach. Now, the esophagus is dorsal to the trachea, so right now we're on the ventral surface of the pig, the belly side, and if I push the trachea to the side, see if we can get a good view of it here. Let me try with one other probe. There we go. If I push the trachea to the side, you see that there's another more narrow tube right behind it. That narrow tube that's behind it, that's the esophagus. And the esophagus is made of softer tissue because it can expand. The trachea has some cartilage in it that makes it a little bit more rigid. All right.